Welcome to the deep dive.
All right, today we're going under the microscope looking at a really short but incredibly dense legal phrase. You find it buried in condo docs for older buildings.
Right.
Think places like the Plaza of the Americas, built back in, what, 79?
Exactly. Buildings from that era.
Our mission, really, is to understand this thing called Kaufman language. Because whether it's there or not, well, it changes everything about who pays for what and how fast the building has to jump on board with new state safety rules.
Yeah, and what's so interesting is how simple the actual phrase is. Kaufman language is basically just this one sentence. This declaration is governed by the Florida Condominium Act as amended from time to time. That's it.
Just as amended from time to time. But the impact, you're saying, is huge.
Oh, absolutely massive. Whether those few words are in your original, say, 1979 documents or not, that determines a whole lot about future liability and costs.
Okay, so spell it out for us. What is that core difference? Why does this little phrase pack such a punch? Well, okay, if that language is missing from the original docs, the condo is largely, grandfathered in. They operate mostly under the laws from back when they were built, like 1979.
Meaning it's harder for the state to force them to adopt newer, potentially expensive stuff.
Precisely. Things like the modern structural integrity reserve studies or those mandatory milestone inspections become much more complicated to enforce without that language.
But if the language is there, or I guess if the community votes later to add it in,
then it's the opposite. They've basically pre-agreed to adopt every new state law related to condos that the legislature passes automatically.
Wow. Okay. No need for a specific vote every time Tallahassee changes the rules.
Exactly. It streamlines compliance, but it also means they accept all changes. Sight unseen, you could say.
So let's get practical. Let's talk money and maintenance. If an older building suddenly finds itself under this blanket agreement to follow all future laws, what's the biggest, most immediate financial hit? Where does it hurt first?
Right. The financial side, that's where it gets really noticeable. The association's responsibilities just balloon, especially for repairs.
How so?
With Kaufman language in effect, the association itself has to pay for repairs inside the unit. Think drywall, ceilings, maybe floors, up to the paint.
Wait, inside the unit?
Inside the unit, yes, if the damage was caused by a common element failing, like a common pipe bursting behind the wall, or a roof leak that damages the ceiling inside someone's condo.
But wasn't that typically the unit owner's problem before, or at least their insurance's problem? Especially cosmetic stuff like drywall.
Under many older declarations, absolutely. But the current law, when Kaufman applies, shifts that responsibility. And it's not just the repair cost itself. Think about insurance deductibles.
Uh-oh. Those could be huge for associations.
Exactly. And under this scenario, those potentially very high deductibles for claims related to these common element failures, they have to be treated as a common expense.
Meaning everyone pays a share through their regular assessments.
Correct. So suddenly, the common fund, everyone's money, is paying for potentially frequent, smaller interior repairs and the high deductibles that come with them. It can really drive up those monthly fees.
That sounds, well, financially risky for the common fund, diverting money from maybe bigger structural needs. So is there a safety valve? Does the law offer a way to manage this specific insurance and internal repair mess? I think I've heard about an opt-out vote.
Yes, that opt-out vote is absolutely critical. It's a strategic tool the law provides. So even if a community decides, okay, we need to add Kaufman language to comply with new safety laws.
Like the structural integrity stuff.
Right. Even then, they can immediately turn around and hold a separate vote. This one is specifically to opt out of just the insurance repair requirements, the part that makes the association pay for those interior damages we talked about.
Ah, okay. So you can accept the follow future laws part for safety, but carve out an exception for these specific internal repair costs.
Precisely. The opt-out vote specifically targets that section of the statute, I think it's 718.111A, related to insurance and repairs.
And what does that achieve, practically speaking, if they successfully vote to opt out?
It essentially lets the declaration revert back to its original, likely 1979, definitions just for who fixes what when a common element causes damage inside a unit.
So the unit owner would be back on the hook for their own damaged drywall or paint, even if the leak came from a common pipe.
Generally, yes. It shields the association's common funds from those frequent, smaller internal repair claims and the associated deductibles. It keeps the common money focused on the truly common problems, the roof, the structure, the pipes themselves.
Okay, so wrapping this up for communities listening right now,
Yeah.
What's the takeaway? The absolute first step.
Check your documents meticulously.
You have to know definitively if that as amended from time to time. Language is already there.
Yes. And if it's not there, the board and the owners face a really tough decision. They need to weigh adding it, likely to comply with mandatory safety standards, against the immediate financial burden of those internal repair liabilities.
Unless they add it and immediately push for that opt-out vote on the insurance repairs.
That's the strategic play. It's a major governance challenge, balancing safety compliance with financial prudence.
Definitely a lot to think about.
Which leads to maybe a final thought for you, the listener. As these older communities are navigating these mandatory safety upgrades, things they really have to do, how can they best use these tools, like the opt-out vote, to protect themselves? How do you balance unavoidable compliance costs with managing the risk of taking on potentially thousands in new routine repair expenses?